Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It's Friday, the 6th of June, 11 a.m. Central European time. And we have a war of the billionaires. Donald Trump and Elon Musk had a little bit of a spat last night on X, and we're going to have a little look at that. But what is more important than that is having a look at the China talks that are supposed to be taking part today. So we have a lot to get through, as always. We're going to have a look at that. We're going to have a look at the one that got away. We're going to have a look at Syrup. Syrup is now over on Solana. We're going to take a look at that. We have a few other things to cover as well. We're going to have a look at the private XRP claims that have been dismissed. Is it the last cycle? Is this the last Bitcoin cycle? We don't know. We're going to have a look at 3 picks. What do the experts say? What do I think of them? Pump, not fun. And then finally, we're going to give you the agenda for next week, because we have a few things coming up. But what we are going to do is we're not going to murder people in chat with bad jokes like I've been trying to do with poor Charles. Good morning to who is here? Hidden Agendas, KB. Charles is here. Kishan is here. KB is here. I think I've already said that. It is Eid today, I believe. I think it's Eid Mubarak. Don't know how to pronounce it. Really sorry. But have a great day, whatever you're doing. Be merry, be happy, and try and avoid watching any of the drama unfolding on X. So that's the plan for the day. Now, we should probably, before we go into X-Files, charts, things like that, we should probably have a quick chat about what happened last night. And that is, there is a bill being introduced. I think it was Wednesday night it came out, so obviously we didn't stream yesterday. And this bill basically raises the debt ceiling. And Elon Musk is trying, obviously, desperately hard to cut waste in governments. And it's a little bit of he said, she said. He hasn't found an awful lot of fraud. And Trump is annoyed that he's not found fraud. But Musk is doing it to basically save the American people money. So you've kind of got two different directions. Trump wants to basically blame the Democrats, and Musk wants to save money. And part of the bill is to cut subsidies on EV vehicles. Anyway, it's all blown out of proportion. It's become a little bit like a playground or Teachers' Day at your school, where people are just hurling abuse at each other. And it's great theatre, and it's great pantomime, but it will also affect the charts. So even though it doesn't structurally affect America, it doesn't affect anything, it does affect Tesla, of course, and it will affect X, even though it's a private company. It's still going to cause a little bit of a shakeout in the market. Now, as far as I'm aware, we've just gone back over $104,000, which is great for Bitcoin, but all of the alts have been absolutely hammered, because that's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. When Bitcoin dominance tears to the upside, people flock to safety in crypto, and that's Bitcoin. People are picking up cheap Bitcoin, $103,000. We did say that 100,500, I think it was the Oracle that had that price for a potential bounce, and I never thought we would get there. And I think we pretty much came off that last night. I think we came down to 100,600, 100,500, 700, whatever it was, but we've bounced back above. This isn't market news. It's a spat between the President of America and Elon Musk. That's all it is. It's a spat. What's more important is the telephone call between Z and Trump. That's what's important. Don't be distracted by Epstein files. Don't be distracted by EV subsidies. Don't be distracted by any of that. It's all theatre. It's to distract the audience while the magician sneaks to the back and then runs through the crowd, and everyone's going, how did he get there? There you go. There are some people, of course, saying that it's staged to trap the Democrats. Who knows? But it looks overly played out on X. It looks like theatre and pantomime. And I did believe it at the beginning, but by the end, I didn't believe it at all. Once there was the Epstein announcement, once the closing down Dragon X, once all that started coming out, I didn't believe any of it. I think it's all theatre. But anyway, I suppose we should get on and do something. Good morning, Danny. I hope you are well. Also, the winners from Wednesday. Nobody has sent me their Solana wallet. Now, I can't remember who won. Hidden, Danny, maybe. I don't know who the 3 winners were, but nobody sent me their wallet address, and I bought com to give to you guys. So make sure to do that. Right, should we get on with the show? That wasn't really my rant. That was just me basically telling you to ignore everything that you are reading because it's just theatre, like I said. Right, let's go into it then. Let's go all shuddery and shaky in the bottom corner. Let's load up and get everything. There we go. Another thing I want to say right now, bottom right-hand corner are our sponsors. A big thanks to our sponsors because yesterday I have ordered another set of microphones for the studio. I've ordered another Sennheiser for myself. We've ordered a load of sound equipment, all paid for, of course, by Mew, by Maple, and by WolfSwap. And that helps us grow the channel. And when we do have sponsorships, we tell you. And when we don't have sponsorships, we tell you. So we're giving away the com tokens. They came out of our pocket. We do not have any relationship with anybody else other than the ones we tell you about. So Mew, WolfSwap, and Maple. That's it at the moment. And when we get new ones, we tell you. We are honest. And one other thing I want to have a rant about this morning. Good morning, Mags. Another thing that I want to rant about this morning is I was watching one of these. Hidden, KB, and Mary, I think. Right, okay. So Mary and KB and Hidden, I need your Solana wallet address. I think I bought, I can't remember what it was now, $30 worth of com, which I'll send to you. You can stake it. They launched their staking 2 days ago. I've staked the amount that I bought. You can go and stake it and it pays 44%. Stake it for a month, stake it for 3 months. Anyway, nothing to do with me. So, what was I going to say then? Oh yeah, I was watching a streamer this morning. This is going to be a long Friday, by the way, because I haven't even started and it's already nearly 10 past. And this streamer, who looks at the charts, talks about, let's say, for example, he talks about dupe token, and he gives you these targets for dupe, and he tells you about dupe and do this and do that. And then when something like this happens, he turned around today and said, "I'm not looking at it anymore. It's going down." So what he's basically saying is, in the good times, when the prices are going up to make you money, I'm going to show you where that token will go to. And if it doesn't get there, I'm going to stop covering it. And if it goes down, I'm going to stop covering it. And I think that's BS. I think if you talk about a token, you talk about it at every point. Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager who ever lived, said, if you don't support us in the bad times, don't support us in the good times. And that's the same of everything else. You have to cover the tokens that you cover, whether they're going down or up. Tell people where to buy dupe. Where is the next price to buy in? 35 cents, 30 cents. But don't turn around on a stream and say, I don't cover it anymore. It doesn't look good. I'm not covering AVAX. It doesn't look good. What horse nonsense is that? Again, fair weather streamers boil my bones. Okay? If anyone ever says anything like that to you, what's the point? What's the point? If he tells you to go and buy dupe and it keeps going down, then he's obviously got the call wrong, fine. But shouldn't he be telling you where the bottom is to buy in? Like we were doing with XRP and ADA when it was at 20 cents and 25 cents and 30 cents. And we kept saying, buy these tokens. These are the prices. These are the tokens. Solana, as it was careering towards $100, buy Solana $100 to $110. You don't just flip a switch and say, right, we're not going to cover it anymore. Rubbish. That was more of a rant, I suppose. I'll get myself going now. Right, Bitcoin then. 103.6. It seems to have seen off the spat on X. Ethereum hasn't fared so well, down 5.6%. BNB down 4. Solana down 2. Doge got absolutely smashed because, of course, of its association with Elon Musk. But again, not bad prices. Nearly 150 for Solana. BNB 643. XRP just below 220. Where's Cardano? Cardano at 64 cents. Again, 60 and 80. They're the two goals for me. Hyperliquid, I think I like a theory that I read about James Wynn. I don't know if I've covered it on here, which is that James Wynn is being paid by Hyperliquid to do this stuff where he's long and shorting Bitcoin, because everything is to do with Hyperliquid. So I do believe there is some value in the assertion that James Wynn has been sponsored to some extent by Hyperliquid. I do believe that, because we talked about that token when it was at $15. It's now $34, $35. And I don't believe it should be this high. The same way that when Ton was 8th, I said to you, it's clear manipulation. I don't believe it should be 8th. And now it's fallen back into the pack. Sui has had its run. It's hanging in there. Maybe that will go higher. Hyperliquid, I think its days are numbered. I think that's going to be $25, $20 sooner rather than later. But that's just my opinion, and that is all I am here to do, is give you my opinion. And believe you me, I have been wrong, probably not as many times as I've been right, but I have been wrong. And maybe hype just keeps going, but I think it's going to top out. I think it's going to come crashing down. The coin I don't talk about, back over $1. Floki is up a touch, but you will see that there really aren't many gainers. Now, this is, because of what's just happened, this is a potential list of tokens that you could pick up on the cheap. What's happened? Elon Musk, the billionaire, has argued with Donald Trump, the billionaire, on X, and the markets have acted like you've come in on Christmas Day morning and smashed up all your Christmas presents. Lido DAO, solid project. Jupiter, solid project. Pancake Swap, never really talk about it, solid project. Near, absolutely hammered, down 12%, decent project. ASI, decent project. Optimism, Arbitrum, decent projects. These are all decent projects that are down there. Maybe not Trump. That, of course, is going to take an absolute kick to the nuts because of this, because of its reputation. But again, that token will go up when Trump talks about it, says anything, does anything. He will drive that token price up. So again, there's some bargains to be had. 46 cents for dupe. 46 cents for dupe. Absolute steal. Absolute steal. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some good tokens down there that are going to start bouncing. And again, you could do some short trades on this. You could maybe buy some dupe at 46 cents, wait for it to go back up towards 55, 60 cents, make a nice 20, 25% profit. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Lido DAO at 77 cents is an absolute bargain. Down 22% though. Again, I liked Immutable X. I liked Immutable X when it was at $1 and $1.50. It's at 50 cents. I am very wary to say it's great, but I think at 50 cents, it's not bad. I need to probably go and relook at the project. Good morning, Bullish Bull. Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Manjeet. Who won the quiz? Hidden, KB, and Mary won, I believe. I was deleted. The Oracle removed me from my own quiz. I was extracted like a bad tooth from the mouth of victory. Now, we had a chat, and he was quite right. I shouldn't be playing the quiz. It's not fair, but I enjoy the excitement of it. So what I'm going to do from now on is I'm not going to take part in the quiz, but I am going to pick a random person and become their cheerleader during the quiz. Maybe it's Tariq. Maybe it's Simon. Maybe it's Danny. Maybe I'll cheer on Danny. He's the underdog against Mary, by the way. So maybe I'll do that. Who knows? Right, should we actually get on with something proper now, rather than me going off on one about things? Right, I think we've got a tweet from me to start the show, and I don't know what this tweet is. I did this yesterday, and a lot of the time, I'm old. I don't remember what goes into these streams. I do them in advance, and then I see them and I remember them. So this is me, apparently. I've tweeted something out. What have I said on this fine Friday morning? Oh, it's been deleted. I've deleted my own tweet. Don't know what that was about, but I'll show you one anyway. Where are we? By the way, if you don't follow me on X, follow me on X. We're nearly at 6,000, which is surprising because I don't remember going over 5,000. Who knows? Right then, this is the tweet that I've already got at the end. So we'll do this one first. So basically, I made a video about Bitcoin yield. How do you generate Bitcoin passively? And I've made a video. I made it for the OGs and then did it at midnight, and I've actually put it live. So I haven't put it out for OGs. It's live for everybody. So it's out there. And I went through the best places you can generate Bitcoin yield. Best does not mean risk-free. Just bear that in mind. However, there are other ways to earn Bitcoin yield. I know Salad has sent a message about having, whatever Bitcoin he's got. But if you've got Solana, this company, which is BTC Sol, they're going to do it differently. What they're going to do is you stake your Solana, so you'll generate 6 or 7% on your Solana, but you'll actually get paid. Rather than getting your staking rewards in Solana, you're going to get paid in Bitcoin. Now, I love this idea. And the reason I love this idea is I want us to get to the point where Mary comes along, Danny comes along and says, listen, Mike, I've got 20 BNB. What's the best token to farm? And I'll say, right, stake your BNB, stake your 20 BNB and farm Ethereum, because Ethereum's going to have a great 12 months. Or you've got your Solana and you say, right, I haven't got any Bitcoin exposure. I've just got Solana tokens. I would say take some of your Solana and stake it in BTC Sol and then earn a passive 6% of your Solana in Bitcoin. I want to get to the point where you stake A and earn B. Now, you don't get me wrong. It can go horribly wrong. Of course it can. But nice hash. And back in the day when I used to farm, I had my ant miners, I used to basically farm Litecoin. But what the nice hash and other miner websites would do is they would allow you to choose your payout. So they would say, do you want to be paid out in Litecoin, Doge, Bitcoin, whatever it was? And you'd say, right, I want to farm, and whatever I earn from my farm, I want to be paid out in Bitcoin. And believe you me, the biggest mistake I ever made was not farming Bitcoin, because I was earning 1.50 or 60,000 Satoshi a day. And back then it wasn't a lot, but now, oh my days, I wish I'd have stuck with that. But the point of the matter is, we should be able to, as customers, say, these are the tokens I have, there is the pot that I am going to put them in, and I want to earn Bitcoin. So have a Bitcoin pot, and whatever you put in there earns Bitcoin. Or let me choose what to earn. And I think that's the next evolution. Why wouldn't it be? Because the exchange does all the work for you. And that's the way it should be. Charles has talked about it on Cardano. I've been telling you about Charles talking about this for about 2 years. Why can't we do it? Why can't we stake ADA and earn Bitcoin? Why can't we stake Solana and earn Bitcoin? Why can't exchanges set up a system where we stake our Ethereum and it auto converts that yield to Bitcoin? Why can't they do that? It just takes out a layer of problem. Trump says he's very disappointed with Elon. I am very disappointed with Donald. That's all I'm going to say about that. That is all I'm going to say. Don't have anything else to say on it. What we're going to get to in a minute is way more important, which is the profit take. Now then, the one thing I want to point out about this, of course Mary won. Of course she won. Don't worry about being late, Manjeet. It's absolutely not a problem. One expert tips AI will replace workers and cause a global population collapse, but PricewaterhouseCoopers research shows you can actually get a fat raise using AI at work. Now, let me tell you a few things. Let me tell you something. When computers were invented, it was going to put people out of work. Never happened. When the internet was invented and you could hire people around the world to do your job at a third or a quarter of the price, it was going to put everybody out of work, and it never did. Okay? The mass panic of AI is BS, because when one opportunity goes, another opportunity arises. There is going to be a shift in the workforce. So refuse collecting, food outlets, fast food outlets, things like that, yes, they will all have a shift. maybe postal deliveries, maybe the Amazon. I know there's a report out that says that Amazon have a fleet of automated trucks. They're now going to fit those automated trucks with robots. So 20,000 trucks, I think they're going to put 20,000, 30,000 robots in them, and those robots will deliver things. So delivery driving will be a thing of the past. Yes, certain industries, but it's not going to create mass unemployment. There are always going to be things that robots can't do, to some extent. Extrapolating this an awful lot further into the future, 40, 50, 60 years into the future, we are all going to have a universal income, or things are just not going to cost us money anymore, because the majority of things that generate electricity, the cost of manpower and electricity, driving trains, things like that, they're all going to go. But believe you me, the prices won't come down. That's another thing. But we're not talking about now. We are going to see AI used to make you more productive. That's what AI will be used for. And I've talked about Elon Musk and Donald Trump working on the gigafactories. Everybody's saying, how are they going to build anything in America? They're going to build in America because they're going to use gigafactories and they're going to fill them with robots, and humans are just going to oversee the quality of work. So when people say China's still going to produce everything, Japan's going to produce everything, it's not. COVID caused a massive change in the minds of how countries and companies think, and that is that if there is a globally distributed manufacturing system, it takes something very simple to completely break it. And when you have a factory full of robots working 24/7, 365, making trainers, making phones, making whatever, the demand isn't labor anymore, it's resources. What has Donald Trump been trying to do with Zelensky? He's been trying to work on a resources deal. So he's also been working on putting American factories into the Ukraine. Why? Because they're putting the factories near the resources. So then the only additional cost will be shipping one place to one place. America will build its own factories. The UK will build its own factories. It's coming, but it's going to take 5 or 6 generations. And believe you me, this is not going to put you out of a job next week. And don't let anybody scare you, because we had it before with telephone companies. Telephone companies were trying to scare you out of using the internet because it was a threat to the telephone companies. Now, the telephone companies are bigger than ever because they adopted it. They took it on board. They started selling internet packages, mobile phones, whatever it might be. Look at crypto. Banks hated it. They wanted it banned. It was full of fraud, full of criminal activity. And now every bank under the sun is trying to offer you crypto. Okay? At first, there is pushback. Then there is adoption. It's the same way humans have been forever. 1.76% of wallets made over $1,000 on pump.fun. Worse than a casino. We are going to talk about that later on towards the end if we have time. And I stop going off on tangents every 5 minutes. Right then. Am I still stuck on the wrong screen? I appear, ta-da, as if by magic. Okay. Amazon, I've just been telling you about this. Amazon to test humanoid robots for deliveries. The robots ride in Amazon's 20,000 electric Rivian vans and deliver packages. That's going to come. Of course it is. But should the consumer benefit from that? Yes. Will they? Very unlikely, because the cost of those robots at the very beginning is going to be high. So they will offset that over maybe a 4 or 5 year period. So I don't expect deliveries to be cheaper in the short term. Now then, we did say on here a long time ago that Donald Trump was going to make a lot of money out of being the president of America. Let me just adjust my camera. Why does it do this all the time? It makes my head absolutely huge. Give me a second. I'm going to restart my camera. Always the way. The one problem with AI is hand movement. So basically, it picks me up, and I'm gesticulate. There we go. I think I'm back. Let's move that down a bit. There we go. Perfect. Right then, we are back. Trump is always going to make money out of people. He's always going to make money out of being the president of America. We've talked about his meme coin. We've talked about World Liberty Financials. We've talked about his stable coin. He's applying for a spot Bitcoin ETF. Why wouldn't he? Now, he's filed the S1. The regulator probably won't be able to block this because it's not directly come through Trump. It's come through Truth Social. So, the assets of the trust consist primarily of Bitcoin held by custodian on behalf of the trust. The trust seeks to reflect generally the performance of the price of Bitcoin. Again, it's just a standard application. Again, I don't know what to say about this. This is Donald Trump. He is, of course, he will be probably 500 million, $1 billion richer when he finishes the election. Sorry, not the election, the presidency. He'll be a lot richer than he is today. And he will be taking profits, and his friends will be taking profits. And that is just one of those things that you have to understand about him. He is all about the Benjamins. That's it. He's all about the money. Now, will America benefit as well? Well, if he turns it into a profit-making business, if you look at the imports and exports, the balance of imports and exports, they've come down. I think they've halved in the last 2 months. So the deficit, I think, was 150 billion. It's now 67 billion in a month. So he's nearly balanced trade. It won't balance, but he's nearly balanced because they're a consumer country. But helping America is also going to help Donald. And never forget that. He is not Robin Hood. But he will take his pound. He's like a butcher. He'll cut up your pig for you, but he'll take a few chunks of it along the way. Or he'll cut up your lamb and maybe take a leg. That's just the way he works. Now then, the last Bitcoin cycle, Swan says history's turning. Now, every single cycle in Bitcoin's 2017, 2021, the last 2 cycles that I've been in, it's always been the last cycle. This is the last full-blown cycle. I think we are approaching the last cycle. It might not be this one, it might be 2029, but I think we're approaching the last cycle. And the reason is, institutional adoption brings so much money to crypto that the larger the market cap, the harder it is for it to absolutely crash. Now, we did see with Tesla yesterday, it's down 14%. We can see, of course, volatility in normal stocks, and we could see it in Bitcoin, of course we can. But I think there is a lot to be said for saying that the end of the cycles are getting closer. The halving is having less effect. Every halving has less and less effect. Miners are becoming commercial. Institutions are buying Bitcoin. And I think what I would say before we read this is, I would say that they're not ending. They are just becoming more shallow. And there are charts to show you what that means. I don't think we're going to see 60% dips anymore. We might see 30 to 40% dips. When we get to $250,000, we might see 10% dips, 15% dips. But I think the 80%, 70% drawdown days are gone. And I think we should be talking in the 30s and 40s. I don't think we should be talking in 60 or 70s anymore. Because the market cap's growing. The market cap's getting too high to warrant that drawdown. But we shall see. So in a thread on Wednesday, the company, this is Swan, argued that the familiar 4-year boom and bust cadence is giving way to the last rotation, a silent transfer of coins from retail speculators to institutions whose investment horizons stretch decades. I agree with that. People less committed to the long term are exiting, and a whole new class of investors are entering. So far, 2025 has defied the script. The third calendar year of every prior cycle delivered the vertical moves that define those areas. This year has offered big moves, but also shallower corrections and longer periods of sideways chop. I don't agree with that. I think we've been following the cycle. We said that there are 30% corrections. We have seen 30% corrections. So I don't know why they've been shallower. We normally see movements in October. We saw it last year and the year before. We're going to see it this year as well. So I don't agree with that premise. But I do agree with this. But Bitcoin has been doing this forever. Bitcoin bores people. I said to you months ago and time again, Bitcoin does nothing and then it is fast and violent. That's what Bitcoin is. It is fast and violent. We were covering the 2023 bear market when we were at $15,000, $18,000, whatever it was. We're at $105,000. We've moved 7x from those prices. We've done that in not even 2 years. We've done that in 23 months. So how can we say the price action is boring people? Recency bias. If we stay at 103,000 from now until September, I guarantee you people will be selling out over that period of time because it doesn't move. And then October will hit and we maybe go to 120,000, 125,000. But you can't, even back in the day, Bitcoin didn't really move that much. It had a lot of sideways action 6-7 years ago. So I do agree with that statement. There is a supply squeeze. I do agree with that. Corporations are long-only buyers, not traders of Bitcoin, he argues, or they argue. The thread portrays 3 intertwined rotations. Trustees, lawyers, and early adopters are exiting. ETFs, corporations, and sovereign-grade balance sheets are stepping in. Between intention, speculation, given away to allocation. Okay, we're not going to read any more of that. I do agree. I think the Oracle is going to make a video about this. It's in his list of videos that he's going to make. I think if you asked me 4 years ago, I'd say there's a 25% chance that this was the last big cycle. If you ask me now, I would say that I'd probably give it a 75% chance this is the last big cycle. Do I think we're going to go to $50,000 ever again? No. Do I think we could go to $80,000? Absolutely. $80,000 is 20%. I think we've got another 30% dip in us. That could be from 125 to 95. It could be 110 to 85, 87, whatever it works out as, 77, whatever it might be. I think we've got some dips left in us. Just because it's how it's worked in the past. And I will stick to the 4-year cycle as long as the 4-year cycle stays alive. And I think it is right now. Let's move on then. Ripple CTO ends speculation on private XRP. Private XRP mystery finally debunked by David Schwartz. Now, this is one of the better looking gentlemen in crypto. If you were looking at the top 3 hunks in crypto, you'd have the Oracle first, and then I think you'd have a tie-up between me and this man. This is a man who I believe could take on a bear or a gorilla, and that is David Schwartz. Lovely man, by the way. Genuinely has the time for everybody. Meets people at airports. If people recognise him, he'll sit down with them. He's a lovely bloke. But he does look like Giant Haystacks. And if you don't know who Giant Haystacks is, go to Google and look up Giant Haystacks. And maybe if you've got time, I'll show you. There has been chatter around Ripple quietly using private versions of XRP. David Schwartz, one of the architects, has addressed it, and with it, ended a thread of speculation that's been going on for years. I had no idea about this, and if I did, maybe it was 4 years ago. I don't remember a private XRP conversation. Schwartz replied with something that cuts straight through the fog. No private ledgers today are using XRP as currency. Now, just read what he said there. No private ledgers today are using XRP as a fiat currency. Today. Now, If I made burgers every day and you asked me at 2 o'clock today, you made burgers every day, and I said to you, no burgers have been made today, it doesn't mean I've not made a burger for the last 364 days. I don't know of any private ledgers that use XRP as the fee currency today, but if you designed one that way, the most likely way to do it would be to keep the fees as revenue for the operators and owners. The latest response from the CTO makes it clear there is no dual pricing, no private XRP burning in the shadows, and nothing that would suggest token behaves differently. Again, I'd never heard of it, but maybe you have, and Giant Haystacks here has put that to bed. Now then, I'm going to show you one that got away. And this got away. I told you a few weeks ago, not financial advice, but I would be looking to buy Circle at $25. And I said I'd be looking to get in at $25, depending on what it IPO's at. This is the one that got away. Now, if there is a future where we see a $20 Circle again, the market has collapsed. XRP tried to buy Circle before this happened because they knew exactly what would happen. I believe XRP was going to buy Circle and do an IPO. That's what I believe, because it would have looked really bullish. But they didn't, because Circle was going to IPO. The price, and I've got the actual chart to show you in a minute. Circle opened at $69 on the New York Stock Exchange with higher than expected premium over the IPO price. This didn't surprise anybody. I don't know why they're saying it was a surprise. It hasn't surprised me at all. This is a money-making business. I like to tell you about money-making businesses. Jupiter, money-making business. Link, Maple. It doesn't. Forget the magic internet coins. Forget the beans. They're money-making businesses. They're the businesses you should be investing in. If you gave me the choice of Bonk and Doge, maybe not Doge, Bonk and SHIB, I would look at the revenue generating side of Bonk and the revenue generating side of SHIB, and probably find out that Bonk makes more money because of its trading box and everything else that it does. So I would pick Bonk. Why are you picking coins that don't make any money? They will run out of money and they will no longer be, and your magic beans, the only hope you've got for your magic beans is to plant them in your garden and hope you can go and see a giant. Magic beans should be bought in companies that make money. Now, opening at $69 did not surprise me. It did cross $103, 4 times the price it was offered at, I think. Maybe it was $27 it came out or something like that. Oh no, 31. The IPO price had gone up to 31. Incredible. Circle started its first trading day at 69. The company held its IPO at 31 to open at 44. Now, the other thing to bear in mind with this, which I'm going to show you now, is they had to halt trading. 3 times they had to halt trading. There are they're called fire breaks? I think they're called fire breaks in exchanges. And fire breaks are meant to do one thing. They are meant to stop a coin from going down or up too much. This is the chart for Circle. It's currently, or it's closed, sorry, at $83. It's going to open at $96. It's going to open at $96. So had you got into the IPO, you'd have 3x your money in a day, 300%. Anybody that tells you you can't make money in stocks and shares is lying to you. You can make money everywhere. In fact, it's going up as people are listening to me. So KB is clearly putting in some bids on Circle as we speak. Fine. At $96.50, it's an incredible price, but it's not surprising to anybody. Can we go back and see? There we go. So it opened at 31. There were some fire breaks, but I can't see when those fire breaks were on this chart. This is going to be another success, and it's not like coin. And the reason it's not like coin is that as long as Circle has 60, 80, $100 billion worth of USDC, and as long as it has that staked in treasuries and bond yields and whatever it might be, that 100 billion will still be making them 4 billion a year. The problem is when everybody starts to exit crypto and sells off and it all gets converted and their revenue drops. But I don't see that happening. We're in an expanding industry. Stable coins are the golden child of the industry at the minute. We've got stable coin legislation. The threat to Circle for me is new competitors. The Trump stablecoin, Tether, PayPal, XRP stablecoins, they're the threat. But the pie is going to get just so much bigger. It's going to get so much bigger. And if their share of that pie gets smaller, they might end up with 10% market share at 250 billion, which is 4 times what it is today. So 4 times what it is today, you'd be looking at a Circle price of $150 to $250. It's an unbelievable way to make money. But would I buy it today? No. And that's not financial advice. Feel free to go and buy it. I'm going to wait for it to come back down. I'm going to wait for it to retrace. Maybe it comes down to $60 or $70. If it ever does, I'll buy it. If not, as the title says there on your screen, I believe, it says got away, because I think it did. It got away from me. Not that I could have done much about it, but sometimes you see trades and you think that's a good trade. I would have got in that. Another thing to tell you is that I think I mentioned it very briefly a few days ago. I closed down my entire trading account 2 weeks ago. Market all-time highs. Expecting a recession next year. I've closed everything down. I'm now sitting on cash. I'm probably going to put it into bonds for the next 6-12 months. See what happens. See if the dollar collapses a little bit. See if Bitcoin goes up. But in terms of stocks and shares, I'm out at the minute. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's just the way it is. Maple Finance's Syrup token soars ahead of Solana expansion. We are sponsored by Maple Finance. But this isn't the reason for including the article. We're including the article because Syrup USDC went live on Camino. And if you've ever watched us before, we talk about Camino Finance a lot. The lending protocol has been a major beneficiary of the RWA boom and is now heading to Solana after adopting the Chainlink interoperability standard, CCIP. Again, all of this is subject to change because these articles were written before the spat. The stablecoin Syrup USDC is expanding to Solana, the second largest blockchain. The token will be bolstered by $500 worth of incentives and 30 million of liquidity. The protocol revenue surged to 1.4 million in May, doubling the 793 in April. And look at that. These are the charts I post on X. If you don't follow me on X, I cover a completely different set of news on X than I do on here. This is like general news. The Oracle does the charts. I do general news. And I cover a lot of WolfSwap and Maple and Mu over there. I cover their revenue. I cover what WolfSwap does in terms of its revenue. It's had its second best month in May in 2025. Maple's had its best ever month. So again, this is great news. There is a rally. Again, with the token, $1 is not far away. And I think we're at 43 cents now. We started with them, it was 12 cents, 14 cents, I think. I bought on a dip. We then sold at 25, 30 cents, can't remember what it was. Took the profits, bought more equipment. So we don't hold any Maple at 43 cents, but it doesn't matter because a new computer, new microphones is more important to us than the short-term price action of a token. Sid has said, Maple's had a slew of recent developments contributing to its rally. They've got partnerships with Cantor and Bitwise. Remember, Syrup, the token, is on Binance. I believe Syrup USDC is also on Binance as well. Another major catalyst has been the listings of Syrup on Binance and BitGet. These have increased the token accessibility and, of course, the liquidity and, of course, the trading volume. It's all green and rosy for Syrup. But and this is what I will say about every single token, there will always be a plateau. There will always be a plateau in every token, and you cannot expect every single token to go up forever. Maple was a great spot at 12 cents. It went up towards 48 cents, so it 4x'd in about 2 or 3 months. You could have taken your 4x profit there. You've still got a chance on the next leg up. But believe you me, Syrup, Mu, Ethereum, Solana, they will go to new all-time highs. And your job, not my job, your job is to decide if you should take profits. Now, we've taken $3,000 or $4,000 in profit in the last month, give or take, to pay for all of this equipment. I don't regret selling the tokens because we were in massive profits. You should take profits. I said in Telegram, even if you take money to buy yourself a takeaway or go for a nice meal with your husband or your wife, take some profits and pay yourself. Paying yourself is just as important because you'll get remorse. You know, if there's a massive correction tomorrow, we go to $90,000 or $85,000, Syrup goes down to 30 cents. You'll think I should have sold it at 43 cents. Take some profit. Do I think it's going to go to 60, 80 and $1? Yes, of course I do. But take some profits along the way. It's not going to harm you. Take 10%. Top 3 altcoins whales are buying right now. Again, I take these things with a pinch of salt. This is from Yash Jain. Let's see if I agree with these 3 picks. So the first one is Ethereum. Do I think you should be stocking up on Ethereum? Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Ethereum is, once the staking comes out, which I believe will be soon, BlackRock are demanding it. Once that comes out, we're going over $3,000. Now, I've seen a lot of people saying that we've topped on Ethereum and it's going to come back down. I disagree with them. Now, the chart might say that, and maybe even KB in chat thinks Ethereum can come back down. Maybe it comes back down to $2,100, $2,200. Fine. But the institutional demand is going to flow into Ethereum like a river over a dry desert, and it is going to saturate it, and Ethereum is going to be bought up. That's just what's going to happen. Now, we've said there's going to be a 30% correction in Bitcoin along the way. I think we've got at least one more along the way. Who knows when it's going to be? July, August, September, who knows? I think we've got one more. Ethereum will come down again. But I think it depends where it's going to come down from. 25, 2,600. Are we going to go over 3,000 to 3,200 and come back down to 2,500? Maybe. It's never a bad idea to hold Ethereum. Never a bad idea at all. Right then, that's a definite one for me. So that one, let's see what I'll do my Snog, Marry, Avoid at the minute. The coin I don't mention, let's just call it coin. This is doing incredibly well. Lots of people are looking at this. I think the Oracle looked at it yesterday as well. It's doing incredibly well, but I won't cover a coin call this. I've got standards, and my standards is not to talk about coins like this. So I will never buy it, never promote it. I don't care where it goes. I don't care if it becomes the 3rd biggest coin in the universe. It's a stain on crypto, in my opinion. Bonk, to some extent, is also a stain on crypto, but a different kind of stain. Hyperliquid, the recent surge is due to the hype around James Wynn. Again, I wouldn't touch this one at this price. The reason is it's risen so dramatically. If you look at the chart here, does this go back to the start of the year? Right, okay. So we were talking about it, and the reason I knew about hype is I'm in an NFT project, which isn't technically an NFT project. It's a VC, and they invest in different projects. They've invested in Bitcoin miners. They're generating Bitcoin yield. They come back to my NFTs. You get a native token with them, and they also have a treasury. And the treasury's got nearly $1 million in the treasury, which isn't bad. There's only really, I don't know how many, 1,500 NFTs. I don't even think there's that many. And they've been talking about hype, but they were talking about hype around about February, March, April time, I think, this year, because it was after my operation. And they were picking it up at $15 and $16. Now, the question is, it's 11th. It's 11th, and it's come from nowhere. It's 3x'd almost this year. I don't believe that this momentum is going to carry on. If it goes to $58, it's almost in the top 10. And I've been saying for a while that I don't think the top 10 is crackable right now. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if you look at the market cap of top 10, I love the fact that CoinMarketCap has the backing of Binance and still doesn't load properly. Right. So if you look at the top 10, the bottom one there is 22.7 billion. You've then got Sui, Hype, and Chainlink. But in not even Chainlink, you've got Sui and Hyperliquid. If you take out USDC and USDT, then Hyperliquid and Sui make up the top 10 with Chainlink in 11th. That would be a fairer way to look at it for me. I don't see Hyperliquid flipping Cardano and Tron. I just don't see it. And I've said this about Ton. I didn't see Ton flipping Tron and Cardano. Much as I don't like Tron, it's just there. It's it's fast, it's quick, it's cheap. Yes, it's going to have its own stablecoin, which is free to send. I know all of these things. I've never liked Tron, even though I've used it before. So Hyperliquid, $35. I just don't see it going to $68. That would put it above Cardano. I don't see it. I think when James Wing finally goes away, I think that's going to fall down to $25. I think it's going to go back down to about this area here, about 8 billion. That's just my opinion. I can't see it going up. I think it is literally all hype. And again, I don't see, the same way I said I don't see why Ton is doing this, I don't see why Hype is doing this. I just don't see it. So what did we have then? Hype? Oh yeah, okay, fine. So I will marry Ethereum, I will snog that coin, and I will avoid Hype. That would be my picks from those coins. And again, you do you. I'm just passing on what I think. I'd certainly be looking at having some Ethereum. Don't have 50% of your portfolio in Ethereum. Have I said good morning to Tariq? Good morning, Tariq. I hope you are well, sir. I hope you are well. Right then, moving on. 60% of Pump.Fun wallets lost the money report. Again, favorite title of the show is Pump Not Fun. That's my favourite title of the day, I think. Again, this is a scar on Solana for me. It's driven volume, it's driven activity, yes. But it's gambling, and it's bad gambling, because a certain group of people, and I'm not going to call them a cabal, when I mean a certain group of people, I mean people who are well-oiled at making coins and promoting them and getting people to buy them. They are making off like Flynn. Really old expression, that. Pump.Fun, I have never gone near it. I have never touched it. I will probably never really ever bring it up, because this is the antithesis of what I think crypto should be. And to some extent, meme coins. But meme coins become community coins, and they need time to grow and flourish. Okay? Pump.Fun exists. If Pump.Fun hadn't existed, the question is, would Solana be as popular as it is today? No. Would it have the volume? No, it wouldn't. There was a period in time where there was, 120,000 tokens made in one day on Solana. Most of that was through Pump.Fun. But 1,700 wallets lost more than $100,000. UK banned the site in 2024, a good move. A lawsuit was filed against it in 2025. Again, I don't agree with that. I think Hester Peirce came out and said, if you gamble with meme coins and you lose your money, don't come crying to us. And again, that was the right move. The UK banning it was the right move, in my opinion. Absolutely. You can all cry freedom, but there are certain times when you've got to save people from themselves. There's a very different, being a libertarian and having a completely open system are two different things. You need to have some protections. It plans to raise $1 billion through the Pump token launch. Why do they need to raise money? They don't need to raise money. There's no reason for them to raise money. This is a cash grab. This is a cash grab. I would not buy this token. Pump.fun is on borrowed time. What will save Pump.fun is the exchange that they launched to rival Radium. That's what will save Pump.fun. I wouldn't touch this token, the barge pole. If I get given this token, I will sell it. I will have nothing to do with this project. I think it is absolute trash. How much liquidity has Pump.fun taken from altcoin season? Absolutely all of it. They have absolutely trashed it, in my opinion. By the way, don't forget to smash the like button and say hello in chat. If you're new here, subscribe. And if you're new here, say hello. We don't bite. Maybe one of Simon's monkeys will, but we will not bite. They have extracted hundreds of thousands of Solana from the ecosystem. They are a scourge, and I'm not a fan. I believe in the concept, and I believe that you should have an easy way to launch a token. If you look over on Chronos, you have Push.fun and you have Wolf Street, and that allows general projects to launch. You can look at some of the projects we've covered. We covered the gold token, was it AUT, over on Chronos. So I'm not against what they do. I'm against how it's been abused. They're two different things. And again, it will be abused because, why has Jupiter had to bring in its verification system? Because that many fake copies of tokens were being created through Pump.fun that they had to verify them. According to Ginalytics report, 60% of wallet addresses that interacted over the past 6 months ended up posting losses. I actually think it'd be more, but 40% in gains, that's pretty good. Let me scroll down a bit. Of the 4.25 million wallets that traded, more than 10 tokens, 2.4 million had losses, 1,700 lost more than $100,000. It's gambling. It is gambling. Anyway, we'll have enough of that. Let's have a little chat about this because I think it's important that that I put out my opinion on this. And again, you don't have to listen to my opinion. It's just my opinion. But I'm going to tell you what we do. If a project comes to us and says, will you cover our token? And we get this on a daily basis in our DMs on Telegram, in our DMs on X. Now, we are thousands of dollars a month poorer than we should be. We bring home a third of what we should bring home because we do not cover the majority of stuff. And I'm going to give you an example today. So we were approached by a company that has a meme coin on Solana, $5 or $10 million market cap, asked us to make a promo video, do a live AMA, do the usual stuff. It's probably about $500, $600, $700 worth of work. Good business for the amount of time we would spend on it. We can't do it. We can't do it because when we go and look at the token holders, 60%, 70% of the token holders are the same 20 or 30 wallets, which means it's the same people. So what would happen is I'd make this video, do an AMA. Tariq would then go and buy $100 of this token because he trusts me and he should trust me. And then it rugs. Tariq loses his money and comes to me and says, I've lost my $100. And I say, well, not financial advice. I don't want to ever do that. If we cover projects, it's because we either buy them or we believe in them. So it costs us an awful lot of money to do that. And that's the one thing that I don't think people understand. We don't pump our numbers on X. We don't pump our numbers on YouTube. We don't pump our numbers on, where else are we? Binance. We don't pump our numbers. We also turn the majority of people down. There is another one that has contacted us. And they are a lending platform where you can deposit your Bitcoin, deposit your Ethereum, deposit your Solana, and you'll get 8-10%. Okay, they're based in the Bahamas. They have licenses over there. You should do, but I'm poor for you trusting me. And the thing is, they want to do an AMA. They seem legitimate. They seem completely above board. But if it walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And the APRs that they're giving back, and the fact that they're based in the Grenadines and they work out of a shared office in Hong Kong, We can't do it. And it could end up being a legitimate company, but we can't do it. So there's two examples of losing $1,000 in a week. $1,000 in a week, what's that in pounds? 750, no, yeah, about 750 quid we've lost by not doing those projects. Now, let me ask you this. How many people do you watch that will do the same thing as us? How many of your crypto banter, cryptos are us people have you watched that will do the same thing that we will do? Or what will they do? They will talk and talk and talk about a token. Let's say, what was the token? It was a Jupiter. They'll talk and talk about Jupiter. The Jupiter price will fall and they'll stop talking about it because it makes them look bad. Or they'll have stopped being paid to talk about that project. Gotius Maximus was the biggest example. So you've got to bear in mind, we lose a fortune by trying to be honest. And this isn't a sympathy thing at the end of the stream. I'm just telling you some facts. These are the facts. This is why we give away $30 and $40 and not give away $150 or $120, because we made a promise to you 2 years ago that we would give you back 10% of what we make. And by and large, we give you back roughly 10% of what we make. And that's in the giveaways that we do. That's in the NFTs that we buy and stuff like that. So we kept our promise. We didn't build the website yet because the Oracle still needs to do that. He had a job to do and stuff. So it's not a sympathy thing at the end of the stream. I'm just explaining the temptation to make money is there. And if I was a 22-year-old and didn't care about people, I would be taking all these opportunities. I'd be making a lot more money. I'd be going to Dubai and taking pictures of myself with cocktails. But this is the real world. And you are real people at the other end of this camera and the other end of this microphone. And you have real lives and real jobs. And what you put into crypto is your real money. And I treat your portfolio like I treat mine. And if you lose money, guess what? I lose money as well. I've shown you my portfolio in the videos. You know what I've got. So bear in mind when you see the next greatest thing being promoted by all of your... Yeah, exactly. And the devs sell the bags and get out the project. We've never launched our own token. We don't have our own token. We don't do anything like that. We just try and be honest. And the thing is, at the end of the day, I would rather be honest and have 30, 40 people watching me than being dishonest and have 300 or 400 people watching me that I don't know. That's all it is. I pretty much know everybody in chat. I know what they do. I know what kind of personalities they've got, stuff like that. We joke with Tariq because he could take a joke, and we can take a joke as well. And I'd much rather have this than have anything else. So one day, if we blow up and we have 300 or 400 people in chat, I'll be happy with that. But we think we're doing the right thing, and that is all that cares to us. And if you want to go and be told about microcaps, fine. Which reminds me, actually, the Oracle has been approached by a platform. I think it's a decentralized platform. I'm not going to give you the name on here. And he is going to be looking at, I wouldn't call them meme coins. I'd call them Solana low caps. And when I mean low caps, I mean 20, 50, 100. So he's going to start streaming over there a couple of times a week. He's being paid for that. But he's talking about the coins he wants to talk about. So last night he did COM, he did SPX. I think he's going to do Camino. He does genuine projects on Solana. So he's not being paid to tell you what coins to buy. He's being paid by the platform to provide content. But I'll put the link into Telegram. Go and say hello. I think you just need to, I think you can go into the chat room. You don't need to sign up. You don't need to put KYC in or anything like that. I think you just go and watch him. So he'll probably be doing that for a while until we see how it goes. If it ends up being a disaster, he won't do it anymore. But he's on another platform talking about coins not right now, but I think he's doing it on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays or something. Anyway, I am ranting. It's 12:04 on a Friday. Why are you all here? Go away. Go and enjoy your weekend. I will see you on Monday. And we are probably going to do some kind of quiz night, but we haven't planned it yet. I will put it up. Thank you, KB, Tariq, Simon. I said at the start of the show, and I pinned it, happy Eid Mubarak, if I've got that right. Happy Eid to those of you who celebrate. And if you don't, have a great weekend. Keep your morals and work hard. It will pay off. People will spot. Yeah, hopefully they will. Thank you, Manjeet. Thank you, everybody else. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.